What if I told you that in 2018, one of the world's most prestigious luxury brands, with over 160 years of tradition and exclusivity, handed their creative reins to someone who had never attended fashion school, never worked for a major fashion house, and whose primary claim to fame was spinning records at house parties in Chicago? The fashion world called it impossible. Critics said it would never work. Industry insiders whispered that it was a publicity stunt that would destroy a legendary brand's reputation. But here's what they didn't see coming. This DJ from the Midwest was about to rewrite every rule about who belongs in luxury fashion, what qualifies as high design, and how culture itself gets created. The man was Virgil Abloh, and his journey from basement parties to the pinnacle of luxury fashion isn't just a success story, it's a masterclass in breaking barriers that everyone said were unbreakable. How does someone with zero formal training convince the world's most exclusive fashion house to bet their entire men's division on his vision? How do you go from being rejected by the industry to revolutionizing it completely? The answer lies in a series of calculated risks, controversial moves, and strategic partnerships that seemed crazy at the time but now look like pure genius. This is the incredible story of Virgil Abloh becoming the first Black artistic director at Louis Vuitton, forever changing the relationship between streetwear and luxury fashion. Virgil Abloh was born on September 30th, 1980, in Rockford, Illinois, to Ghanaian immigrant parents who had come to America seeking better opportunities for their family. His father worked as a painter, while his mother was a seamstress, and it was through watching his mother work that Virgil first developed an appreciation for craftsmanship and design. She taught him how to sew, unknowingly planting the seeds for what would become his future empire. However, fashion wasn't on young Virgil's mind during his teenage years. Instead, he was completely obsessed with music. He started DJing at house parties when he was just a teenager, spending every free moment learning how to mix tracks and read crowds. His friends knew him as the guy who could make any party come alive with his music selection, and he began to build a reputation in Chicago's underground music scene. Despite his passion for music, Virgil was academically gifted. Like many immigrant parents, his parents pushed him toward a practical career path. They'd seen too many dreams crushed by harsh realities, and they wanted security for their son. He enrolled at the University of Wisconsin-Madison to study civil engineering, a field that seemed completely unrelated to his passions for music and design. But Virgil had a plan that nobody else could see at the time. After graduating with his engineering degree, most people expected Virgil to get a traditional engineering job. Instead, he shocked everyone by pursuing a master's degree in architecture at the Illinois Institute of Technology. His parents were confused, but supported his decision, not knowing that this seemingly random career pivot would become the foundation of everything he would later achieve. Architecture would teach him to see space, form, and function in ways that would revolutionize how he approached fashion design. During his studies in architecture, Virgil continued building his reputation as a DJ. He performed at bigger venues and gained recognition in the international music scene. The dual life was exhausting, but exhilarating. Days spent learning about spatial relationships and material properties. Nights spent creating sonic landscapes that moved crowds. Yet it was through music that he would meet the person who would change his life forever. In the mid-2000s, Kanye West was already a successful producer and rapper, and deeply interested in fashion and design. When he heard about this young DJ, he was intrigued. The two quickly developed a friendship based on their shared obsession with creativity and their belief that music, fashion, and design were all connected. Kanye saw something in Virgil that others had missed. While most people viewed him as just a DJ with unusual interests, Kanye recognized that Virgil's unique combination of skills, music, engineering, architecture, and an innate sense of style could be incredibly valuable in the creative world. He was someone who understood both the technical and emotional aspects of creation. Their partnership began with small projects. Virgil started helping Kanye with creative direction for his music videos and album artwork. He brought architectural precision to visual concepts that impressed everyone who worked with them. The Graduation album cover, with its bold geometric shapes and vibrant colors, bore the influence of Virgil's design thinking. Slowly, Kanye began bringing Virgil deeper into his creative process, recognizing that his friend's perspective was making everything better. But the real breakthrough came in 2009, when Kanye suggested something that seemed impossible. They should both apply for internships at Fendi, one of the most prestigious fashion houses in the world. They wanted to learn from the best, even if it meant starting at the bottom. The plan was from vintage Kanye, but the strategic thinking behind it was pure Virgil. Against all odds, Fendi accepted both of them as interns. For Virgil, this was his first real exposure to the inner workings of luxury fashion. He spent his days in Rome learning about craftsmanship, materials, and the business side of high-end fashion. The Italian artisans who had been perfecting their craft for decades were initially skeptical of the American DJ turned intern, but Virgil's genuine curiosity and respect for their expertise won them over. More importantly, he was learning how traditional fashion houses operated, knowledge that would prove invaluable later in his career. After the Fendi internship, Virgil's role in Kanye's creative world expanded dramatically. Kanye launched a creative agency called Donda, named after his late mother, and appointed Virgil as the creative director. This was Virgil's chance to apply everything he had learned about design, architecture, and fashion to real projects. At Donda, Virgil worked on everything from album covers to stage designs for Kanye's tours. He was responsible for creating the visual identity of some of the biggest moments in hip-hop culture. The Watch the Throne album cover reflected Virgil's understanding of luxury symbolism. Meanwhile, the stage design for Kanye's Glow-in-the-Dark tour showcased his architectural training, creating immersive environments that transformed concerts into total artistic experiences. Countless other projects bore Virgil's creative fingerprints, establishing him as a force behind some of culture's most memorable visual moments. However, working with Kanye also taught Virgil some hard lessons about the creative industry. He watched as Kanye struggled to be taken seriously as a fashion designer, despite his obvious talent and vision. Virgil realized that if someone as successful and influential as Kanye faced these barriers, what chance did he have? This realization could have discouraged him, but instead it motivated him to find a different path into fashion, one that didn't require the approval of traditional gatekeepers. He began developing his own theory about how to break into exclusive industries. Don't ask for permission. Create your own rules. During this time, Virgil also continued DJing, performing at major venues. His sets became legendary in certain circles, not just for the music, but for the visual elements he incorporated. He was becoming known in multiple creative fields simultaneously, building a reputation as someone who could seamlessly move between music, design, and fashion. This multidisciplinary approach would become his signature throughout his career, setting him apart in a world that often demanded specialization. If stories like this inspire you, where someone breaks the rules to build their lane, hit that subscribe button. Because in the next chapter, Virgil takes one of the boldest risks of his career, and the entire fashion world loses its mind. In 2012, Virgil decided to test his theories about fashion and branding with a controversial project called Pyrex Vision. The concept was simple but provocative. He bought dead-stock Ralph Lauren flannel shirts for $40 each, screen-printed them with the word Pyrex and some graphics, then resold them for $550. On the surface, it seemed like highway robbery. Yet Virgil had a deeper point about value, authenticity, and the nature of fashion itself. The fashion establishment was outraged. Critics accused him of appropriation and called the project a scam. How could someone take existing clothes, add some screen printing, and charge luxury prices? Nevertheless, Pyrex Vision sold out almost immediately. Young consumers, particularly those from hip-hop and streetwear culture, understood what Virgil was doing. He made a statement about how traditional fashion brands had been doing essentially the same thing for decades. taking basic garments and charging premium prices based on brand perception. The difference was that he was being transparent about the process. The project only lasted a few months, but it served its purpose. Virgil had proven that there was an appetite for his vision of fashion. Additionally, he had learned valuable lessons about production, distribution, and marketing that would inform his next venture. Some people dismissed Pyrex vision as a gimmick, but others recognized it as a brilliant commentary on the fashion industry. Furthermore, he had demonstrated that the rules of fashion were more flexible than most people realized. It was clear that he was ready for something bigger, something that would channel his provocative instincts into a more sustainable business model. In 2013, Virgil launched Off-White in Milan, and with it, he would revolutionize the relationship between streetwear and luxury fashion. The brand's name came from Virgil's description of it as existing in the gray area between black and white, as the color off-white, a perfect metaphor for how the brand would position itself between streetwear and high fashion. Off-White's aesthetic was immediately recognizable. Virgil incorporated industrial design elements like zip ties and caution tape, used quotation marks around words to question their meaning, and combined luxury materials with street-inspired silhouettes. It was unlike anything the fashion world had seen before. The zip ties became iconic, transforming a mundane hardware store item into a luxury fashion statement. Meanwhile, the quotation marks added an intellectual layer that elevated streetwear beyond mere clothing into conceptual art. But what made Off-White truly revolutionary wasn't just its design language. It was Virgil's approach to building the brand. Instead of following traditional fashion industry rules, he used social media, celebrity relationships, and cultural moments to create buzz. He understood that fashion was no longer just about clothes. It was about storytelling, community, and cultural relevance. Each drop became an event, each collaboration a cultural moment that extended far beyond the fashion world. The brand's first major breakthrough came through collaborations. Virgil's collaboration with Nike on the 10 collection reimagined 10 classic Nike sneakers with his deconstructionist aesthetic. The collection was a massive success, with sneakers reselling for thousands of dollars and cementing Virgil's reputation as a cultural tastemaker. Off-White's success continued with unexpected collaborations that showed Virgil's versatility. He worked with IKEA to create a furniture collection called Markerad, partnered with Evian on limited edition water bottles, and even collaborated with McDonald's. Each project reinforced his belief that good design could elevate any product or brand. The IKEA collaboration was particularly genius. It brought high design principles to mass-market furniture, democratizing design in a way that aligned perfectly with Virgil's philosophical approach. By 2017, Off-White was being sold in the world's most prestigious department stores, generating hundreds of millions in revenue. The success wasn't just commercial, it was cultural. Off-White had become a symbol of a new generation that refused to accept traditional boundaries between high and low culture. In March 2018, Louis Vuitton revealed that Virgil Abloh would become the artistic director of their men's wear division. He was the first African American to hold such a position at the French luxury house, and his appointment sent shockwaves through the industry. The decision wasn't without controversy. Some critics questioned whether someone without formal fashion training could handle such a prestigious role. The fashion establishment's reaction was mixed, with some embracing the progressive move, while others expressed skepticism about whether Virgil could maintain the brand's luxury status. However, Louis Vuitton's leadership saw something that the critics missed. Virgil represented the future of fashion. The luxury house's CEO, Michael Burke, had watched Virgil's career for years. He recognized that the luxury fashion industry needed to evolve to stay relevant to younger consumers, and Virgil was the perfect person to lead that evolution. Virgil's debut collection for Louis Vuitton in June 2018 was a masterclass in balancing respect for tradition with bold innovation. He paid homage to the house's heritage while introducing elements. The show featured a diverse cast of models and drew inspiration from The Wizard of Oz, with a rainbow runway that symbolized hope and possibility. The collection included reimagined versions of classic Louis Vuitton pieces, alongside entirely new silhouettes that reflected Virgil's street-influenced aesthetic. The fashion press was initially skeptical, but the collection was a commercial success. Sales of Louis Vuitton menswear increased dramatically, and the brand attracted a younger, more diverse customer base. Virgil had proven that he could honor tradition while pushing boundaries. As Virgil's influence in fashion grew, he began using his platform to address larger cultural issues. He was acutely aware that his success had opened doors not just for himself, but for other Black designers and creatives who had previously been excluded from luxury fashion. At the same time, he continued pushing boundaries in his Louis Vuitton collections. The collaboration with artist Takashi Murakami brought vibrant colors and playful motifs to the traditionally conservative world of luxury menswear. Meanwhile, his partnership with NBA legend LeBron James created a collection that celebrated athletic achievement while maintaining luxury fashion's sophistication. In 2020, Virgil launched the Postmodern Scholarship Fund, pledging $1 million to support Black students pursuing careers in fashion. The initiative provided financial assistance, mentorship, and career development opportunities. His commitment to mentorship extended beyond formal programs. He regularly spoke at design schools, offered advice to young designers on social media, and used his influence to highlight the work of up-and-coming creators. He believed that success should be shared, not hoarded. Furthermore, his influence extended far beyond fashion. Musicians, artists, and designers across disciplines looked to Virgil as a model for how to build a creative career without compromising their vision. But Virgil's story would come to a tragic and unexpected end. On November 28, 2021, the fashion industry was shocked by the announcement that Virgil Abloh had passed away at the age of 41 after a private battle with cardiac angiosarcoma, a rare form of cancer. His death was a complete surprise to everyone who knew him, as he had kept his illness private while continuing to work at the highest level. The outpouring of grief and tributes that followed Virgil's death revealed the true scope of his impact. Tributes came from every corner of the creative world, from fashion designers and musicians to athletes and politicians. Kanye West, Drake, Pharrell Williams, and countless other celebrities shared personal stories about how Virgil had influenced their work and their lives. It was clear that Virgil had touched lives far beyond the fashion industry. Even more telling were the tributes from young designers and creators who had never met Virgil personally, but had been inspired by his example. They spoke about how seeing someone who looked like them succeed at the highest levels of fashion had changed what they believed was possible for their own careers. His impact on representation in creative industries was immeasurable. Perhaps the most fitting tribute to Virgil's legacy was how his work continued to influence fashion after his death. Louis Vuitton announced that they would continue to honor Virgil's vision, with his final collections being released posthumously to critical acclaim. In other words, Off-White, now led by his wife Shannon Abloh, continued to operate as a testament to his creative vision. The brand maintained the principles that Virgil had established. His scholarship fund continued to support the next generation of Black creatives, ensuring that his commitment to opportunity and representation would outlive him. Virgil Abloh's journey from DJ to Louis Vuitton's artistic director is more than just a success story. It's a testament to the power of vision, persistence, and cultural authenticity. His story challenges every assumption about who belongs in luxury fashion and what qualifies as high design. Virgil showed us that fashion is about more than clothes. It's about culture, community, and the power to change the world through creativity. In just a few short years, he went from spinning records in Chicago to reshaping one of the world's most prestigious fashion houses. And in doing so, he changed what was possible for an entire generation of creators. But what do you think of Virgil Abloh's impact on fashion? Do you believe his approach to blending streetwear with luxury changed the industry for the better? Or do you think traditional fashion houses should maintain their exclusivity? Comment below and make sure you check out our next video exploring the story of another revolutionary who challenged the status quo and changed the industry forever.